less than $100 position size to using 600 to 800.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah.
greatly increased your position. Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to Be the Trader. Today, I have a very unique episode for all of you. Typically I'll bring in traders who've been trading for, years and years, have been consistent, but occasionally I want to bring in different levels of consistency. And today I have Sai with me, and Sai has been trading for not too long, but what I can say is he has been progressing nicely. I've seen him on Twitter and talking with him. I love how he's approaching trading and how he's found consistency and how he's continuing to grow and progress forward. So, Sai, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, if you could just start us off and tell everyone, what got you into trading, and we'll go from there, man.
Let's see. I started. I got interested in trading during the winter break of my senior year. So I didn't really figure out like what I want to do other than maybe going to a medical school or grad school. So that was like a path that I set aside, and then got into trading through like YouTube ads. So saw some Raging Bull advertisements, and so got into their the chat room for a bit, following their alert. Not really working out, and then along the way, there's also the Tim Sykes ads on YouTube again. So I was like, at that point, I was a bit impulsive with trying to find way to improve myself. So got along with going to Tim Sykes' Supernova Alert. And with that, let's see. Yeah, I basically went to the Supernova Alert for a year. And what I like about Tim Sykes is he does his emphasis on the education. So that really hit me. And it stuck with me along the way. And pretty much, and along with cutting losses quickly, allowing me to not blow up. So that helped.
So you were with the Nova room for about a year. And before that, whenever you first got into it, what you said was right out of your senior year. Can you give me perspective? Was that a year before? So has it been 2 years total at that time?
So it wasn't like right out of my senior. It was in the mid. So like January 2020.
Okay.
So I was like almost graduating my last semester of college. That's basically it.
Gotcha. And then, so when did you start to see something like work for you? Like, was it, right away? Like, how long did it take you to see some type of progression?
Ooh, took a whole year. My first year, I was basically losing. I went from a $600 account on TD Ameritrade to like maybe 300. So lost like 50% of the account.
Yep.
And within let's see, around December to January, within those 2 months of December 2020 and January 2021, I decided to increase my account size, which is a bad decision there because before that I was used to losing like maybe $6, $30 a day, but by increasing my account size, because I was thinking that if I increase my account size and then trade the OTC, because I was seeing that I could recognize the pattern in OTC better than in NASDAQ. So increasing my account size, increasing my position size, terrible. And it took one trade to make me recognize that I need to slow down. It was the trade is on AITX. I chased it to 8.7 cents, and like right afterward, it dropped back to 8 cents, and I lost like around 10% of my accounts, and that I put like let's see, 600 to in the position at that time, and that is a huge position for me.
You broke
So
up there a
that's a
little
wake up
bit.
call.
You went from what to what position?
I went from like less than $100 position size to using 600 to 800.
Oh, okay. So you
Yeah.
greatly increased your position. Okay. And so I love what you said though. You said something at the beginning of this too, and that was I was used to losing, $6, $3 to $30 a day. And I want everyone to listen to that because you were approaching it, correctly. You were sizing small. And why were you doing that? Can you explain why you were risking so small?
Well, because I took the words of Tim Sykes. Like it's a I had to look at it as a process, a marathon, not a sprint. And at that point, I knew that I'm a beginner. I knew nothing about the markets. So if I want to survive for the long run,
Mm.
I need to go small just to get the trading experience and get the screen time. So basically, what every successful trader have told me on YouTube or like as their educations is screen times. I need the screen times.
Mm.
So that's why.
I love it. I love it. And so, and then you increased your size. And why did you increase your size? You said you increased it and then realized really quickly that you shouldn't have. Could you explain, like, why did you? Was it mainly just because, like, you thought if I increase my size, I'll do better? Like, what was it?
Commissions.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So at that point, TD Ameritrade's commission was like $6.99 per order executions for OTC.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get into OTC at that. And I recognize that if I want to be over commissions, I have to, my winnings is like 5 to 10%, I need a large position size, and that's a bad idea. So yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, after that one loss, I decided to search for maybe brokers that allow free commissions for OTCs, so that I could like size way down with way low risk, and basically look at the process over again.
Did you see results like change quickly after that, or what happened after that?
After that, I follow what Bryce Tui did. The $2 risk, but I went way smaller. I went like 30 cents risk.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I love this. Okay. Go ahead.
After that, that 30-cent risk, the first month that I started, I made like $80.
Off a 30-cent risk?
Yes.
That's
$80
awesome.
that month.
Wow. By the way, because I know people are going to ask, he found a broker that was free commissions on OTC. Can you please tell us what that was? Because I didn't even know that there was brokers who had free trades for OTCs.
Charles Schwab.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
and so you started focusing on process again, risking 30 cents. Everyone listen to this because you need to know, because we're about to get where Sai is at today, but he was risking 30 cents to make, 60 cents, maybe a dollar, or whatever it may be, it sounds like. And he made $80 in a month, which a lot of people might be like, why would I waste my time? But at the end of the day, like, that's what you're supposed to do. Because if you do that, which we're about to find out, you start to get, belief in your process, and then you just slowly increase. And you mentioned Bryce Tui, a good friend of mine. I was actually talking to him on Thursday, and he did the exact same thing. Like he was risking like $2-3 to make $6.09. And that's what you have to do, because it's process over profit. So Sai, so what happens? Like, you downsize, and then what, the first month after that, you were consistent, or what happened?
I was consistent the first month. So seeing the results, I decided to like gradually increase my size from $30 to not $30, from 30 cents to 60 cents, then $1 is eventually like $3. So the month afterward it was $200, and then automatically increasing like 400, 700 on that, on very gradual. So taking the
You
grinds
said
and then
300 dollar
no,
risk? Oh,
like
profits.
profits
Oh,
of
okay.
um during the month as I increase my risk.
So you went from like 30 cents to 60 cents to a
To
dollar
yes,
and then to what?
like right now I'm looking at like $15 to $20 risk per trades.
Currently?
Um, October, September, it was like a bit of a mask
Okay.
because I was checking to see if I could like go with $30 risk, but hit my biggest losses that month. Like so like some this month and see how it goes.
What'd you say you're going to do this month? Because your connection kind of broke up there.
Um, lower my risk to $15.
Cool, cool. And so let's put things in perspective though, because you said you were risking 30 cents and you had an $80 month, then you increase it, then you had like $100 month or $200 month.
200.
And then you kept and increases again, then you had like a $400 or $500 month. And what people don't realize is, dude, you're risking like $1, $2, $3 at some point, and you're making $300, $400 for the month. Is like that's like no risk. So like it's really interesting. So when you got to 1510, what were you ending the month with?
So let's see. 1510 was July and August. I ended the month with like around 1.5K.
I love it, man. Dude, that's amazing. And it's like I don't ever focus on profits. So I know people are gonna be like, hey, why are you talking about profits? But I'm talking about this in this specific instance because Sai is going through a process. A lot of people, they may have 10, 20, 30 grand in their account, but they just started trading. And instead of risking 1% of that, which is totally something you should never do, especially when you don't know what you're doing, you should risk, if you can, 30 cents. Like I've never ever heard that, but I've done like, $3, $10 to make 15, whatever it may be. And you see the progression, and people think you got to risk big to make $1,000, and you're not risking big at all, and you're having good months, and you're building months after month after month. Now, can you tell us, what do you think the challenge was for you whenever you got to that $30 risk?
Let's see. Not focusing on a single patterns or like on a specific setups, because I've seen so far that I've been overtrading. Like um overtrading on each of my trades. Looking back at them, some of the setups are not even good that I shouldn't have traded, especially when I chase the bounce.
Mm.
Instead of waiting for it to dip again, I chase maybe the second green candles, the third green candles, or even the fourth. So that make my risk reward is like really, really bad. So, and usually when trading OTCs, especially on morning panics, if I chase the bounce, it's gonna panic further, and I'm gonna buy top and sell bottom, dead bottoms, and that happened a lot.
Why do you think that happened to you? Like because the months before that you were consistent. What happened to your mindset that previous month? What were you thinking? Like, were you thinking a certain way different, or what was it?
A lot of it was with FOMO, fear of missing out. So, like, I saw the trade. I saw my order executions. Was my orders was not getting executed, so that basically getting emotional on like not getting in,
Yeah.
and I basically typing the order like on the key on the hotkey like really fast up. So just want to get in, and that is a bad habit, and I'm trying to work on that.
You were using a hotkey market order, I'm assuming, on OTCs?
No, it was
No?
limit order.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, because if you use a market order in OTC, like you're gonna get the exact top. Because it's
Yeah.
just gonna, it's because OTCs, if you're not sure what those are over-the-counter stocks. They have slower execution for the most part compared to NASDAQ stocks. So if you use a market order on those, you will get a terrible execution. You want to use limit orders. And if you like stops, good luck, because stops are different on OTC world. You just need to watch that the entire time and make sure you're ready to execute and get out. And you got to have mad discipline. So it's a good market. I don't trade it. I used to back in the day. I just like to be away from my computer too much, but it's a great market for a lot of people, and it's a little bit smoother, but the panics are definitely bigger. So you just got to be careful. You got to be careful and risk small. So if you're listening to Sai here and be like, man, I want to get into this market, I'm going to go to Schwab. Be careful. Just know if you're going to do that, risk very small if you're new, because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know how they act. Every market's a little unique. So Sai, let me ask you this, man. From talking to you, it just sounds like, you downsize and then you found consistency. I mean, was it just that? I mean, like, do you feel like you were already, like, how was it just that quick for you? Like, and when I say that quick, I don't want people to think like, I want to see what helped you get consistency. Was it just downsizing? Like, and was there a reason you downsized? Because you're like, oh, maybe I'll be consistent if I do this. Like, could you explain that?
It was more so like focusing on one pattern, like, and try to get better at it. Because before I downsize, I was also trading small, but I was trading all over the place.
Mm.
And like breakouts, panics, but not exactly knowing where my risk is. So following like the number one rule, which is I still stick to cutting losses quickly, along with Tim's. Uh, it worked on like OTCs, but before that I was trading NASDAQ, and I kept getting chopped by following that rule because I didn't know what my risk is. I thought that cutting losses was quickly was, if I lose, just cut it. Like maybe break even or small loss. It allowed me to stay in the game for like a very time, especially like as I'm a beginner.
Yep.
But I also had to like learn to judge where my risk is, especially based on the charts.
That's a good point. And so now you don't mess with NASDAQ at all anymore, do you?
No, I I, I will still like occasionally watch it, but my main focus right now is the OTCs.
I think the whole idea, I love that you said this, because everyone's probably listening to this and say cut losses quickly. It works, like it does work. It's super important rule. Like you want to cut your losses quickly. I agree with that. However, I like that you said that when you were on NASDAQ, you did that and it just wasn't really working because it was just choppy and getting chopped up, because NASDAQ is unique. It's a little different. It is a choppier market than OTC. OTC is a little bit more, if your support doesn't hold, like you better get out,
Oh yeah.
Whereas NASDAQ, it's a little different. Like support's like an area, right? Rather than like an actual level. What has been your biggest, like before you got consistent? And by the way, everyone, we know, like, you've been consistent since what month of 2021?
February.
February. Okay. So that's 8 months. That's 8 months. That's awesome, man. So you're almost a year consistent, which is, dude, that you need to DM me when you get to a year consistent. Cause I gotta say congratulations to that. Cause I know some people are going to hear this and be like, oh, you've only been consistent for so long. Like, is that really? But I want everyone to know, like, this is the progress to get to that year of consistency. And this is the progress that's going to get into 2 years, to a year and a half, 3, 4. And as long as you keep doing this sign and trade small and gradually increase and not be afraid to decrease like you did, which I'm so proud that you did that you just decreased right away. it seems like you have a lot of discipline. Have you always been just like a disciplined person? Is this part of your life? Like, do you do other things that is very disciplined like this?
No. Um, what tend to find myself doing is like going from some one thing to another, and right now just really focusing on trading. So like this, I think this might be the longest that I've stuck to something. So um, yeah, just learning discipline through tradings really, because I heard that that's like one of the most important things to do, and if I want to become successful in this game.
Do you trade and just trade all day, or do you work? Because I know people are going to be listening. Like, as you're working through this, you just got out of college. Are you working too and trading? Are you juggling?
So usually, if I focus on morning panics, so the idea is that I'm gonna be finished within like the first hour or an hour 30 minutes, and then the rest of the day go like relax or even just study more.
Hmm.
So right now I'm trying to start studying more. So as for working, I used to like working part times, but right now I want to focus on trading and then studying.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So are you able to stay somewhere? Like, are you rooming with people just to make it like convenient for you while you're working on this so where you can just trade and only live off trading?
I'm staying with my parents, so
Cool.
going back home.
Nice, nice. Hey, I would do the exact same thing. So I would do if I knew about trading when I graduated college, I would have done that 100%. I probably wouldn't have gone to college if I'm honest. I probably wouldn't have. But you know what? College is good. I mean, I don't regret it, but I mean, I kind of do at the same time. But at the end of the day, cool, cool. Let me ask you this: what has been the hardest thing for you in this journey so far? Like, has there been like moments where you were in, like, everyone has different unique moments where maybe some traders go through boom and bust constantly. Some traders just can never cut losers. Some trade, like, what is it for you? Was there something that's like the biggest hurdle and maybe occasionally peeks its head back and says, hey, I'm still here? Like, you got to always be aware of it and work on it.
Chasing. Yeah, like I stated earlier, chasing the bounce.
Mm.
Like not good risk reward at all. Always buying top, selling bottoms.
Mm.
Like going back to some of my charts, I've seen that most of my losses are basically chasing the bounce, not buying like maybe the exact top or buying not the exact top, not buying the dips, not buying
Mm.
the dips. And because when I buy the dips, I know where my risk is and position size accordingly.
Yep.
But when I chase, I still have the same position size, but now my entry is a lot higher and my risk level, if I were to cut it, it's gonna be down way low and just not worth the efforts of or not worth losing um, just to maybe make a less than maybe half an hour.
What are you doing to fix this? What are you doing to focus on not chasing? Is there anything that you're starting to do to implement, telling yourself or something like that?
Like I'm journaling, making specific rules um, about like criterias. Like from let's see, it was an interview that with Brian Shannon
Yeah.
On some of his like how he put his entries. He's always looking for like the higher highs than the higher lows for an entry. So that's what I get from that, and I'm trying to like implement that into my trading because from what I've seen so far is that when it panics, sometimes it'll bounce straight up, but
Mm.
most of the times the bounce is choppy, and when it bounces, it could dip further, But if it doesn't hit the risk, maybe double bottom or make the higher lows, I can enter on that higher lows and risk that lower day.
Hmm.
And since it panics, it maybe it came down from like 1.7 all the way to 1.3. My entry would be like um, let's see, 1.4 risk and 1.3. I still have like a lot of upside to like the
Yeah.
1.7 if it could potentially get back up there. And my um my exit strategy is that what I'm trying to work on is taking partial instead of selling the whole move, like maybe at 1.5, 1.6, take selling to strength.
Okay. And just in case you guys didn't hear him, because it kind of broke up there, he's just basically saying that to take partial instead of selling everything at once at other levels. So along the way up into strength. So I could completely understand that. That's something I do. I take partials along the way, and that really helps you stay patient and help you stay in the move. Let me ask you this, Sai. How do you set goals?
How do I set goals?
And
Like
do you
right now,
set goals?
right now, my a big goal for me is to pass the PDT, and that is I know that it will not happen overnight. It's gonna take a process. So, in my trades, I don't go in. Maybe like I would enter maybe 10 to 20% of my overall um account size on each trade, and then risk like a tiny amount from there. So that allow me to like take multiple trades while also grinding grind along and like not blow up. So setting goals right now is just on the 25K.
Is it I something just crossed my mind. Are you trading a cash account?
Yes.
Okay. And so you how do you manage that cash account to where, because for those who are listening, if you trade a cash account and you're under the PDT, you can trade multiple trades without triggering the pattern day trader rule. Could you explain how you go about doing that?
I use like half of the overall accounts one day and then the other half the next day. What I've been finding is I use like all that buying power within that day. But what I'm trying to find ways to do is not use all of it by looking for better setups and not overtrade.
Okay. So what is over trading for you? Is it like on a good day when you're trading discipline on average, are you trading like 3, 4, 5 tickers in a day? Or are you trading just one? Like, can you explain that?
Let's see. On a on a good day, I usually just trade one ticker. Like just focusing on that tickers and let it come to me. Well, sometimes I'll do like tickers, maybe three. But then when I started losing, um, kind of get the losses kind of get into my head. So I went like over three tickers, like over trading. So over three tickers, 4 or 5. Maybe some of the trades are not even the best. So
It's almost like interesting, like when you start to overtrade, you're trading things that aren't really your setup, your bread and butter. I mean, because you're still, you know what works for you. You got your one bread and butter. And then when you start to overtrade, it's like, as you mentioned, losses get in your head. So you're trying to make it back, or you're trying to get back to where you were or something like that. Maybe you missed your one bread and butter, and then you get a little frustrated sometimes. Some people can, and then they try to find something else. And it's interesting that some traders are going to hear this, and I hope they hear this. And if you need to rewind and hear what he said when he has good days, he trades maybe one or two tickers, and he's really focused on something. When he has not so good days, he may be over trading 3, 4, 5 tickers, and it just doesn't go too well. Now, I get it. Everyone trades different. Some people are going to have multiple tickers, but just ask yourself that same question. When you trade well, how many trades are you taking? When you trade bad, how many trades are you taking? And there may be a significant difference, so you can help hone in and gear yourself towards the right direction if you're, veering the wrong way or whatnot. Let me ask you this, Sai. When it comes to buying panics on OTCs, what has been the biggest factor that helped you do that?
Reading level twos. Because on the OTCs level twos, it's very clear and like a lot slower than NASDAQ. You can see the wall bidders and wall buyers. And then along with that, there's also the volume. You can see the volume coming in, especially when, let's say the dip's going to end. You might see a very, very strong red volume bar. And then it doesn't go any lower. And then the green volume starts to come in. And you have to be like really, really fast too for like, it's a reaction really. And if it doesn't bounce, you got to get out right away. Because if not, you'll be maybe down 10% or even more if you decided to add average down.
And for those who don't know, so OTC's level 2 is significantly different from NASDAQ, like he said, and it's easier to read. However, please listen to what you said, the caution. If it doesn't bounce, get out, because they melt. And if you hold that, you will lose. And if you try to sell too late, you're not going to get out. You're going to get out at the very bottom because of the execution so slow, which is why it's also easier to read on level 2 because the execution is so slow. So there's like benefits. You just got to know the pros and cons. You just got to be aware of that. And I like it. You said it's like a reaction. You just got to take, like when you see that happen, you just got to go for it. Did you ever struggle with that at the beginning? Like when you like nervous, like, oh, I don't want to get in because what if it doesn't work or anything like that? Anything like that happened to you at the beginning?
Oh yeah. If I like, it depends on the position size. Like if I went too large, I'll be like overthinking, overanalyzing, and miss my entries. And now it bounces way higher. I'm gonna chase it and then that's where the problem is. But if my position is like a lot smaller, I'm a lot more comfortable to actually just execute the order. If it get executed, good. If not, it's okay. Wait for it to dip again, because a stock doesn't just always go up. There's time that it's gonna come down.
And so the position size will affect sometimes whenever you hesitate or not. But what about at the beginning though? Like when you first start buying dip buys, because they're, people who don't know trading and they see something panicking, it's hard for them to pull a trigger on something that's coming down. You know what I'm saying? And even if you see the turn, maybe it wasn't difficult for you. So I'm just, you can say it's not, but I'm very curious, like when you first started playing that play and you saw it turning, like were there a lot of moments where you just hesitated and just go without you and just be like, like, and then how did you get over that to be like, what, I'm just gonna start pulling the trigger? Was it just like sizing down dramatically so that way you can start being part of it? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. It was difficult. Like it was at that point that as I said earlier, on like my AITX trade, it was difficult. Instead of sizing down, I went paper trade. I paper traded like within the first couple of weeks of my Schwab account, because my money wasn't settled yet to PC. So I paper traded, watch a bunch of them panics, and then paper trades the entries. It worked. So that built the confidence a bit, and then started really small size afterward.
Who'd you use for paper trading?
I just write on paper, like a literal paper trade.
I like it. I like it. I sometimes experiment, like when I'm looking at a new setup, I'll literally just document the setup on my computer and be like, I entered here, here's why, and I'll take pictures of the chart, and then I'll take a picture when it's over. And that really helps me because there's no emotion attached to it, but I'm just tracking it. I'm just tracking it, see how it goes. And you build confidence that way, because then you'll be like, hey, every time I see this and I document it, it works, or, there's a high odds. So I'm going to take this trade. You mentioned something at the beginning. Before we start to wrap this up, I wanted to ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
It could be your setup, but you're like, sometimes I get in and it's my setup, but the risk reward's not great. Can you explain to people how important it is to make sure that you have a good risk reward? Even because like some people will be like, oh, this is my setup, and they'll just get it in without thinking about that. You know what I'm saying?
So right now, for risk to reward, I'm still like analyzing. I'm still analyzing my trades over that, but I want my trade to have. I want to risk like 1% and make at least 5%. Because if I have a good risk reward, even if my win rate is like under 50%,
yep,
I would still be winning. And my win rates right now is just like it's around 50% right now, and I'm still winning, but just working on risk reward.
You is it difficult? Was it difficult for you, or have you found it interesting to experience like the order of wins and losses in terms of how random it can be?
Orders of wins or losses.
Right. In terms of like, you have a 50% win rate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say you have that. That doesn't mean that you're going to win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. It doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, has that been interesting to you? Like where you'll take like 3 losses sometimes in a row, same setup. And then, do you know what I'm saying? Like, has that been a hard experience for you? Or is that something that's like, you are easily to accept that it's random, even though you have a 50% win rate?
I have no choice but to accept it, because I don't know the future. I'm not able to predict it. I have to like constantly go back to the charts, look at past histories on on my trades, as well as certain tickers, and see what they did in the past for me to understand that like how they're gonna move. Like it's random. It's random, but had to look at the stats.
Gotcha. So you pretty much have just been able to accept it. And I wanted to bring that up because a lot of people will think, oh man, like this guy has a 55, 60% win rate. I want this because that means, I should win more, like they think it's just going to be smooth selling, where it's not that way. Like you could lose 3 times in a row and still have a high win rate. And then the next ones are all win. Like you just don't know the order. Well, Sai, let me ask you this, man. If you could go back right when you graduated college and literally you had like 2 minutes to tell yourself something, what would you tell yourself to help you get to here a little bit faster?
Let's see. Focus on a single pattern. Don't trade all over the place. Focus on that single pattern. Get better at it, but don't go all in. You want to stay. You want to stay alive. That's basically it. You want to stay alive that first year to get the experience needed to actually understand what you are doing and learn the lessons that come along with it.
Perfect. Well, Sai, look, man, I appreciate you coming on today to share your experiences and your growth so far. I want to stay in contact with you. And again, brother, I appreciate you being here to share your experiences with other people.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Absolutely, man.